Welcome back to the garage. Today I had a really busy morning. Oh, that's so bad. I probably shouldn't put that in the video. I finally got the old crusty 1980s-ish tires taken off those Jeep wheels, so these are ready for sandblasting, though they're almost good enough that I might just put new tires right on them. My wheel collection is starting to get a little bit excessive. We got the combat wheels, got the spare for this set, and then we got the 4 of these, one of which is over on the side. Months ago when I was first going through here, I noticed that the previous owner had a nut and bolt through both sides here. And I guess that makes a lot of sense because the holes just line up just right for a spare tire holder on the back of this. I guess the actual World War II ones did have the spare tire on the back because it was a solid tub with no tailgate, and the civilians had them on the side, on the right side, or occasionally on the left side for some of those lefties. Now I'm not entirely pleased with the spare tire being on the back like this. It's supposed to be on the side, but the last guy had a couple of holes here for a mount, so I figured I'd just use it while it's here. But yeah, these compared to the combat wheels that I had, these aren't bad. This is about what you'd expect on a 70-year-old wheel. There's even probably some original paint down there. These have been pretty well preserved. This one's in even better shape. I mean, surely this isn't the original paint on here. There's practically no rust. I mean, there's a few spots. There's always going to be a few spots, but these are in good shape. But yeah, it's actually starting to grow on me just a little bit. I still think I'll put the spare tire holder back on the side where it's supposed to be. I guess I'm a little bit of a Jeep purist when it comes to things like that, but I may not actually patch these holes just to give me that option at some point. All right. Actually, wait the heck up. Suddenly these things of skunk. Whew. In the infamous and immortal words of Jar Jar Binks, "Ooh, you're soft." Someone's dog is not having a good day. They got in a fight with a skunk, and I'm pretty sure everyone lost that one. Whew. All right, brakes. I know in principle how they work. I just haven't really got that practical application just yet. Wow, brand new out of the box. It's already rusted. That's how it goes. As long as the inside's not rusted, you're good. It's the importance of a good seal. Make sure you have a gasket on these. Now, I already had, on the old master cylinder, the splitter fitting, I don't know the technical term, and the crush washers. Of course, last I checked, you don't reuse crush washers, so I've got new ones, and a new brake switch. Now, I already tried to pull the brake switch off my old master cylinder, and that guy is stuck pretty good. So that's why we got all new here. I just rather, piece it all together here and just do the tactical swap. Though, I guess why am I bothering? Because I still need to put a whole bunch of air into the lines by swapping out the soft lines and maybe even some hard lines. Alright, so 2 different size washers. One goes on the front, one goes on the back. I can't remember which one it is right now, so let me go Google that. In my latest shopping expedition, I may have forgotten one thing. There's a bolt. So it is the big washer right against the body of the master cylinder. Then the little splitter. Then the thinner washer. Then a bolt that holds it all into the master cylinder. And then the brake switch screws into that bolt. So I went this far because what I've got on the Jeep is stuck. So I guess I'm gonna have to go apply some persuasion to it in the form of heat. Can't be stuck if you're a liquid, right? Well, here we are again. I'm about tired of this master cylinder, so I guess we're gonna go ahead and pull this thing. I don't remember. Oh, it wouldn't be a complete episode without the phone going off, wouldn't it? I'm beginning to appreciate GoPros. This thing is tiny, and I can hold it in my hand, and I can put it in places that I can't see. I dropped a nut and a washer somewhere in this frame rail, and there's no way that I can see, but I can connect to this thing via the GoPro app on my cell phone, put it up in all the difficult to reach places, and it can look while I'm looking from my cell phone. It could also smack me in the face. Ow. And now I've got who knows what dirt in my eyes. Great. Alright, for those still watching at this point, I skipped a few steps, but got this guy from the outside. Found these that were stuck inside the frame rail. Already pulled this this front one. So all that's left, the long bolt is stuck up here. You probably can't see it because there's an exhaust pipe in the way, but it's attached to this plate. And of course, you can't remove it because there's a bell housing in the way. So it seems to me that some way, somehow, I've got to get this plate here loosened out of the way. That is the only way that this thing's going to come off. And there's a cotter pin over here, but with the exhaust pipe literally just sitting right here against the pedal. Well, actually, if I push on it, there might just be enough space to get that guy out. Let me go get some tools and we'll see what can happen. Alright, now with additional tools and some lights, let's see if we can get this cotter pin out. Okay, that didn't fight. Alright, so all that's left at this point is to actually unhook those two brake lines, push this to the side, and this guy should just come right out. Here comes the mess. Get the right wrench. Didn't I already loosen this? Alright, let's introduce all the air into the brake system. There's already a bunch of air in the brake system, so no worries here. Oh, yikes. I bet you guys can't see that from where you're at, but see right here. Oh, hey, maybe you can. Maybe we'll just put the light over here instead. Yeah. The newly introduced air into the bottom of the master cylinder just forced all that to bubble out the front where it's completely rusted and leaky. Ooh. Alright. There's the front disconnected. There's the rear disconnected. That's actually not as much coming out as I figured would. Probably because it already all leaked out onto the fresh cardboard I put down a few videos back. Let's see if this will come off without too much of a fight. Come on, pivot. Urgh. Oh. So, now it's stuck on the exhaust bracket. Because of course it is. Alright, I can't get it to come down. So I need the rest of this to go that way. How do we accomplish this? I think we're gonna try to push the or get the push rod off here. That's probably gonna be the way to go, because then we'll have a bit of latitude to move it this way. That is gonna need a serious cleanup. Alright, the whole thing should be loose. This should be able to push back some. It does. But if I can let this loose, this bracket should come down. This bracket should come down. Lever down, will ya? Okay. It's loose and hovering, I think. Haha, and it's out. Okay. That was an adventure. All right, come here, you. All right, at this point, I'm about 99% sure I'm replacing the hard lines. Victory. Master cylinder. Let's take it to the workbench. Here we go. You know, now that I look at this, I really do hope that these things were drilled the right way. That's one of the chief complaints a lot of people have, is fitment on these aftermarket reproductions. They say the holes aren't drilled the right way, maybe they're not tapped the right way. But I don't know how old this master cylinder is. This probably isn't even an original, so who is to say? Yeah, this push rod should come out some way. It's actually stuck to the boot. But from here you can see what I was talking about. This thing is rusted on here pretty good. I didn't have much mobility in there, when I was trying to get a wrench on it to pop it loose, but it's rusted pretty good and it wasn't budging. So I'm just having to hope that I can get this guy loose because I need it for the new one. All right. Shout out to Hand Tool Rescue. This thing is so fun. All right, more of that came loose than I expected. Yeah, they crushed the old crush washers and they're pretty good. So I probably didn't need to replace this. It doesn't appear to be in bad shape. The threads appeared just fine. This is what I'm after. If I can get this guy to come off. I honestly don't know how I did projects without a bench vise in the past. My nemesis. I'm gonna go hit up the wire wheel on this guy, see if I can get some PB Blaster in there, loosen it up. Actually, now that I'm looking closely at this, I'm glad I'm taking this bolt out and looking at it because there's a whole bunch of gunk in there. I've also just realized that there's two types of brake switches, one with a male end, one with a female end. So when doing your build, plan your wiring accordingly. This requires adjustment on my part. Alright, so off camera I've applied PB Blaster and heat, then a little bit more PB Blaster. So let's see if any of that has any effect. That's on there good. More heat, maybe. It would be nice to have a bench vise that was attached to the workbench. This one is trigger clamped on. Nope. Let that cool for a minute. Come back. All right. Yeah, there we go. And that's what we're after, minus the gunk on the inside. This doesn't look too bad. We'll clean it up. You know, I never really got a chance to test the old brake switch. I don't even know if it was bad, but it looks old, and it was going to be questionable anyway, so. And once again, there goes the phone as soon as I start doing something. We're going to give that a little bit of a clean. Degrease it a little bit. Ow, your ears.
A few moments later.
All right, those are cleaned the lazy way. Unsurprisingly, not all of the gunk is gone. There's still some from the inside here. But once that gets a little bit cleaner, that should be ready to go back into service. Obviously, I wasn't expecting a miracle on this, but the part that kind of matters is good to go. All right, so with the basic new components together, crush washers in the correct places, we'll do some basic assembly here. Now again, crush washers, the purpose is to crush them such that they form a good seal. So once this is lined up, you got to torque it down pretty good to crush those and form the seal. I'm going to try to align this as well as I can. This cleaned up pretty well on the inside. It was extremely gunky. Actually had to use the threads on this to clean threads. Alright, so once these individual components, they hand tighten pretty dang close, but once this is torqued down, just, I don't know the exact spec, if there is one, other than, you know, the old German spec, good and tight. Using German spec just sounds wrong on a Willys Jeep. But we'll get that tightened down, torqued down, crush these washers a little to make a good seal. These end up being nearly vertical. And then that push rod. Looks like it'll just fit right in here with this boot. Once more, using brake parts to fix brakes the wrong way. That took an embarrassingly long time off camera. Fortunately, you guys don't have to suffer through that. Alright, and there we go. One assembled master cylinder. Once I tighten that down. That's it for this one. Hopefully in the next video, I will be doing a great deal more brake work. We'll get the master cylinder installed, maybe get the front wheel cylinders installed along with the front brake shoes. replace the soft lines. I will see about getting hard lines. And maybe, just maybe, I will have brakes. See you guys on the next one.